Hello again, welcome back. This is the kind of longer video where I talk about a subject. I really kind of covered a little bit with like sicko movies, maybe directed from a point of view in the last video, but this one I'm going to talk about crazy actors. Now, there are different types of crazy actors. There's actors who play crazy well and you can sense there's some disturbance in them that they keep control of. I mean, someone like Michael Keaton, who can play disturbed people and a lot of energy, but he seems to be in control of himself a lot, so I'm not putting him as a crazy actor. There's other ones who are eccentric actors like Johnny Depp, who I wouldn't call a crazy actor. He's more eccentric than crazy. Crazy actors are much more people who are, it's almost like there's an animal inside them as they act sometimes that gets out of control and can create some really wonderful work. Sometimes they burn out in that and they end up starting to, it's almost like they're burnt out what was driving their talent and they just become a more conventional actor eventually. So I'm going to talk about people who, throughout their careers, who may have been crazy actors and have moved on. So it's not that people remained that all the way through their careers. So there's like 7 actors I'm going to talk about who have various different types of careers. The first, I'm going to start with the 2 Brits in the field. You've got Gary Oldman and Malcolm McDowell. These are 2 actors from different generations. Like Malcolm McDowell was the 60s and 70s, and Gary Oldman came up in the 80s and 90s. Both were actors who actually did seem to go towards more conventional films eventually. I mean, Malcolm McDowell's career kind of collapsed in the 80s, and he just went and started. Well, we didn't start doing it, just the parts that went to him tend to be supporting parts in bigger films, or lead parts in much smaller films, or just 1 2D bit parts in a film that he does to pay the rent or something, I don't know. But I mean, he's an up and down career. I mean, he's like, he was big in the 60s and 70s, and then in the 80s, he's one of those actors who, it's nice to see him in a big film, but a lot of time you see him in films and DVD boxes you're never going to watch. But he'll pop up in something every so often. So it's always a case of, you get a sense that he's not paid that well for any of these films, but some directors and cast directors still like him, so they'll bring him in for certain things. Then other times, he's good years and bad years. He's just a working actor. But in the 60s, it's always a pleasure to see him even now. I mean, even some of the Halloween remake and the sequel wasn't the best films, but it was nice to see him pop up as Loomis, and he was a lot of fun as Loomis. You could tell he was having some fun. And every so often he'll get a part where he seems to be enjoying himself, and it's good to see him. So he's one of those actors. It's always nice to see him in a film. But his peak was obviously as a madman in the 60s and 70s, where you get F, you get Clockwork Orange, you get the Royal Flash. He was just this presence all the way up to Caligula, and then he started to go towards supporting parts, and then it flamed out basically. And I think after, it seemed to have its confidence in the 60s and 70s that just kind of fell away, and it became less of a madman and, you know, more just a conventional working actor. Which is the same thing that happened to Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman started in 1890, they played all these parts. In Britain he was working for Alan Clark and Mike Leigh. Then he went to America and he was doing stuff for Oliver Stone and Coppola. And there was a lot of energy coming off him, like he seemed to be living his parts. So you'd prick up your ears at JFK, you had Dracula, you had The Firm. It was just this, he wasn't critical against him dead. There's a lot of energy coming off him. He was really like, felt very highly strung and very much engaged in his work. And then apparently he had a drinking problem. He solved that, and when he came back from that problem, from dealing with that, he was a much more conventional actor. He was a working actor from then on in. So he did good films, he did bad films. He won an Oscar for Darkest Hour. He did a film with Soderbergh. So he pops up in the Batman films as well. So you see him in some films and it's like, man, he did it for the paycheck. You can tell he's a paycheck film. In other films he cares and he puts the work in. But the paycheck ones, he still gives a decent performance. He's not like letting the film down or anything. It's just like, you can tell sometimes he's not as passionate. But in the 80s and 90s, we see some of The Firm. and he's amazing. And you just see the energy he has in that period. It's just wonderful to see, because it's even did a really terrific film now by Mouth he's directing. He directed Ray Winston, and a lot of energy as well. And even some of the kind of conventional villains they played, like in Leon or Fifth Element, these could have been really tedious characters, but he elevates them just by his energy. Especially Leon, that's an amazing performance, an amazing film. It's almost like you can't go any more over the top than this villain, so no one else has really tried. It's just so over the top. In the same way like Malcolm McDowell and like Clockwork Orange, he just brought this kind of madness to the part that was just highly energised and highly different from anything else you'll ever see. But it was a time period where he was capable of that. Some of it's got to do with youth. You have the energy of youth, and you're going to keep doing that, and it's something that builds upon itself. So someone else sees that film, and some other director sees the film, and then they say, "Oh, I can go further here with this person," and it builds and builds and builds, and eventually it crashes, and they go and do more conventional stuff. These two, Oldman and McDowell, kind of went a bit more conventional, but it's still enjoyable to see in films. They're still good professional actors, and every so often they get a part that really allows them to do their stuff. And then other times they don't, but they're still fun to see in films. I mean, there's Malcolm McDowell, time after time is a good one to catch with him. I mean, Gary Oldman recently, he's always seemed to pop up and stuff as like, you've always been interested in seeing what he's in. I mean, usually, every so often there's some hunter killer, it's like, why do you do that? But usually, if he's in a film, he's interested to see what he's doing. Even if the film doesn't turn out that well, he's still known to be interesting and interested if he gets the right part. So, he's doing one with Fincher just now, Mank, which looks fascinating. He just did the Laundromat with Soderbergh. So there's still good work coming from, just sometimes you get the garbage. So those are like two British actors. A lot of British actors take after that thing where there's a lot of energy when they first start out, and then they become more conventional. Like Ray Winston was high energy to start with, and now he's a bulkier, but still interesting actor if you give him the right part. You know, Clive Owen, the same, Tim Roth. You know, you put them in the right place, they're going to get some good work. You put them in the wrong place, they'll get professional work. There's a certain class of British actors that have that element to them. I mean, there were other ones like Richard Burton and Richard Harris who were crazy from before. That's been more my time, really. It's like, I didn't really have any kind of emotional connection with them. It's interesting to see the work later, but I wasn't watching it as it was coming out, or it wasn't close to when I was born, so that I'm interested because it was that time period. But these two actors were, so that's where I bring them up. Okay, next we're going to look at three actors from the 70s and how their careers have evolved. Basically it's Jack Nicholson, De Niro and Al Pacino. And obviously you can map this to the early 2000s, and then there's a big come down in their careers. It's like there wasn't any parts from after that, and it was just like, well, tough. And it's weird because Nicholson kind of retired after that. After early 2000s onwards, he's been working very sparsely, and it's almost like he knows there's not many parts for him anymore, so he's just not going to do anything he doesn't want to do, so he just does what he likes. Pacino still works, even in some trash, but Pacino, there's always a chance to maybe do something like what he did in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where he just turned up and he was eccentric for a bit. But him, there's always a shot, there's always something. There's still a bit of fire with him that, yeah, he'd still do something really cool if he gets the right part. De Niro has been going since the mid-90s. Since Heat and Casino, it's been pretty much... But when it started out, they were really interesting. I mean, there was other people in their generation like Jon Voight and Dustin Hoffman who started out strong as well, but I think they kind of tired a lot quicker. I think they had a good 10 years. And then after that, I think their careers got much more conventional. With not a blip here or there, like with Voight, with like Runaway Train or something, or Voight when he did some supporting parts like in The General or Heat. But Voight's been kind of conventional for a long time and seems to have gone a bit off from my point of view. And Hoffman just seems to have been living on his reputation for a long time from my point of view. Nicholson, De Niro, Pacino seem to be legitimately more crazy and more hungry for work, and their engine seemed to come from certain craziness, certain drive that was there, and they were working with certain collaborators. Like Nicholson was the earliest one. He kind of came in with the Roger Corman stuff in the 60s, then he built up with Dennis Hopper, who I class more as eccentric than a madman. Despite some of his reputation, I don't see the rage and anger of Dennis Hopper, I just see eccentric Dennis Hopper. With Nicholson, you see him in like, you know, Last Detail, or The Shining, or One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. There's a rage to his performances that make it edgy. Like Chinatown as well, he tried to be sophisticated, but there's kind of working class rage to him that never really went away, because he was doing something with Passenger as well. He was really engaged by a lot of interesting directors in the 70s. Then in the 80s, when that changed, he adapted, but he still was trying to do interesting work. I mean, he did Preaching Johnny with John Huston. He started working with Tim Burton when Tim Burton was at his best, with the Batman and Mars Attacks, where he was really funny. He kept on trying to make films with Bob Rafelson, even when his film was starting to go downhill. So, I mean, there's less great Nicholson films from the 80s onwards, but still good ones, and he's still trying. I mean, in the 70s he was doing stuff like Missouri Breaks as well. He did a lot of crazy stuff in the 70s. In the 80s he seemed to know to do a conventional film, then do a weird film, do conventional weird. He seemed to alternate that. But he was still interesting. With him there's always a chance of when you see something really good, even that kind of film that might not work, like The Two Jakes, he's still capable of giving interesting performances there. And he did build that Schmidt film with Alexander Payne. You could see he was still interested in good work. He just knew to adapt it with other work. And there was other stuff like As Good as It Gets, which I thought was a bit conventional but enjoyable. But Nicholson was a madman who adapted to the times, and he realised, I'm not in the same era where I made my name, but I can adapt and I can do my own thing as long as I do their thing every so often. So he was probably the healthiest way of dealing with the industry. You know, because when you have to look back at his CV, there's a hell of a lot of great films in there. It's a wall to wall for a while, and then it quiets down. There's still some really interesting work as it goes along. So he managed to keep himself interested and keep himself employable until a certain point. He seemed to just say, "No, that's enough." De Niro was kind of like the flaming genius for 10 years, and then slowly changed, and he did another 15 years of kind of so-so work, and then De Niro in the 70s was amazing. De Niro, if you look at De Niro stuff, late 60s, De Palma, like Greetings and Hi Mom, which are amazing. He hooked up with Scorsese and did Mean Streets, then Taxi Driver, then all the way up to Raging Bull. Great work. Even in the 80s he was doing stuff like King of Comedy. That was a period where he was starting to do other films, and he was getting ambitious. He was doing something like Once Upon a Time in America, which was great. He was doing stuff like Brazil. There's still a lot of work in there, but he was doing more conventional stuff as well. There was one called Falling in Love or something. So he was trying to take the Nicholson mode of do one for them, one for me type of thing. So he would go and do something like Untouchables with De Palma again. It was more conventional, but he was really great in it. But you could feel from after like King of Comedy especially, like a certain boredom take place with him. Like he was, he was less satisfied with what he was doing, and he was more allowed himself to accept mediocrity. That just went, so he had to lose the man from King of Comedy onward. He felt less like a madman, more like a kind of fidgety actor who still wanted to work, but had less to say in the parts. And every so often he would get a good collaborator, like he'd work with Scorsese in Goodfellas and Casino, which were good work. He worked with Michael Mann in Heat. But the madman, the crazy was gone. It was like he hadn't done what Nicholson could do, which was turn it off a little bit and then keep it for something that was where it was really needed. De Niro, I think, tended to go towards much more like the McDowell Open thing of, I'll do one for them, one for me. The one for me will be good, the one for them will be professional, that's it. But then, at a certain point after Heat, there was no one for me anymore. It was just this one for them, that one for them. And it just seems like, who are these films for? And for the last 20 years, it's been this embarrassment of just garbage. There's no other word for it, it's garbage. And it's quite a shock to see how even Brando notoriously did some garbage as he got older. Even he did some good stuff every so often, and at least his disasters were interesting. De Niro stuff's terrible. It's really shocking. And it's probably the worst 20-year run of a career you can ever see. And he used to be a madman. He used to be a crazy actor. He used to be crazy as hell in his films, and it was a joy to watch. And now it's not even, it doesn't feel like the same guy anymore. So that's like the tragedy element of a career that's kind of crazy, but it allowed itself to become dull. So we'll see what The Irishman brings up, if it's good or not, but I have my doubts. Pacino is kind of in the middle between Nicholson and De Niro. Pacino, he really, from The Godfather to like Scarface, he was really rolling. I mean, he did Serpico with Lumet and Dog Day Afternoon, which was great. He did The Godfathers, you know, Scarface. There were a couple of weird ones in between. He did Scarecrow with Gene Hackman, but he was still trying things. He was trying new things out. He was always a fascinating actor. And then he took a break, then he came back in the late 90s, early 2000s, all the way to 2000s. He would be in some disasters. It would do some for him, some for them. But he seemed to manage it pretty well, sort of the same way Nicholson did, where you get stuff like Donnie Brasco, Curly to his way. Even something like Devil's Advocate was fun. He was a bit over the top, but it was fun. So it was still good stuff. He was working with a lot of younger actors. Some were worked better than others. Some like City Hall never quite worked, but there were some good stuff in between. And he was always still enjoyable to see him, even though sometimes the films weren't great. But he was still enjoyable as an actor. He did something about Richard III, a documentary about Richard III that was interesting. He was still an engaged figure. From about 2000 onwards, he's had more of a problem, but with him you get a feeling that he's now doing stuff with HBO, and he's doing stuff in TV a lot. And he's still trying. Him you get a feeling of, yeah, there's going to be films that aren't good, but he's still trying. He's still trying working with directors he likes, and he's still trying to do stuff, even if he has to do some conventional films to finance the ones he wants to do. He's still, with him there's always a chance that something's going to come up that's going to be interesting. Even if there's some garbage, like Adam Sandler movie or something he does. But he's the one who's seems most honestly still engaged from his generation to now. He still seems the one that's trying hardest, even though there's some bad stuff in there. Because his quality control's always been a bit weirder than some of the other ones when he's trying. Like, I think he gets attached to stuff like, even his early days at Cruising or something, is like, why the hell would you do this? It's interesting to see you try and do it. It's not a good film, but I think he's in Revolution as well. It's like, he's always seemed to be engaged by the kind of weirder films. And when it works out, you get something like Godfather 2 or Scarface. It doesn't work out, you get Cruising. But even now with him, there's still a bit of a crazy actor in him if he gets the right place to put it. So see, again, he's an Irishman. He's the part of the Irishman I'm most interested in, playing Hoffa. And that's another Nicholson part that was really underrated. Hoffa was a really terrific film. David Mamet wrote it, and Danny DeVito directed it. I saw it in the cinema, it was really good. Very underrated. But yeah, Pacino and Nicholson are still, if they were doing a film, I'd still go and see them. If it was an interesting looking film. De Niro, no way in hell. So that's how kind of crazy actor's career can go. Again, the engine seems to have gone for De Niro, but Pacino, you still see the engine of slightly off actors still going on somewhere. So I'm kind of curious to see where he goes. Finally, we've got two more recent actors from they started out in the 80s. I'm not going to go further in the 80s. People started. You want to go over a career, which is Nicolas Cage and Willem Dafoe. They've worked together once with Dog Eat Dog with Paul Schrader film, which I quite liked. It was based on a book I really liked. But they've both been working in and out of the studio system for years, still while doing independent films. So there's a lot of trash. Both of them have done trash, but the both of them have also done some wonderfully weird stuff. Dafoe is more consistent. Like, Nicolas Cage was the bigger star, so he would do some films for the money and he could get paid more, and it'd be some conventional trash like Gone in 60 Seconds or something like that that wasn't very good, but you'd still get stuff like adaptation. You'd still get him doing Leaving Las Vegas, and he was always, even when he was younger, he was doing these parts like in Coppola films, called Coppola's uncle, and he'd always get a sense of eccentricity with him. He's trying things. He was really good in Kiss of Death, which was made in the early 90s. He was always one of the actors, always kind of interesting, if a bit forced sometimes. His kind of crazy actor thing can be a bit feel forced at times if he doesn't get the right director to pull him back. But you get stuff like World at Heart, Raising Arizona, a lot of wonderful stuff. And even now, as he's had some financial problems, he's had to do a lot of films for the money to pay off back taxes, I think. That's what I've heard. I don't know how accurate it is. So there's some films you're not going to bother watching because they look trashy, and he's no longer a big star. But you get stuff like Mum and Dad, you get stuff like The Bad Lieutenant sequel, remake, whatever. You get something like, with Werner Herzog directing it, you get stuff like A Newt and Mandy, you get this new film, Colour Out of Space, which is Richard Stanley coming back. He's still doing interesting stuff amidst some of the trash. But there's always stuff like adaptation. He was in the Wicker Man remake, which was terrible but wonderfully odd. With him, there's always a chance something interesting. Like, he never seemed, even though he seemed to have sold out at times, he never seemed to have lost the craziness of who he is, and he's still legitimately a crazy actor who still does weird things. Like, Dog Eat Dog was weird, and it was wonderfully off. Even some of his mainstream films, like Face Off and, Con Air, are bizarre as hell. Snake Eyes with De Palma's nice and eccentric. It's just like, he does some crap like Captain Corelli's Mandolin or something. There's stuff like that where he seems to get attached to respectable films, which is probably his worst thing. He's much better when he's with weird bastard directors who will let him go and pull him in when he needs to be pulled in. But he's still a wonderfully odd actor. He is obviously still got his interest in filmmaking. Which is the same with Willem Dafoe. I mean, from this generation, they're the ones who seem to have lasted longer and stayed interested in filmmaking as they've been along. They've had ups and downs. I mean, Dafoe has been in terrible films like Speed 2 and Triple X 2. Then again, he was in the Green Goblin. He was the Green Goblin for Spider-Man. He's been in Aquaman recently. At the same time, he's been doing stuff like Pasolini for Abel Ferrara. He's done a lot of Abel Ferrara films. He's done a lot of films with Paul Schrader, like Light Sleeper. He started off like Streets of Fire and To Live and Die in LA. He's had a career, he was in Platoon, he's had a long career of eccentrics all the way through, but he's always managed to go back and forward to working with people that interests him and doing a paycheck film every so often, but it never seems to get in the way of whatever his process is to try and keep interest. Like he does small films that may or may not work, and then he'll go and do a big budget film that may not be that interesting to him, but it pays the bills. So this is the kind of healthier side of the crazy actors thing, where I think in the earlier eras, like with Nicholson, De Niro and Pacino, they were big stars, like legitimate big stars, and you can't really remain that and be an eccentric, crazy actor. Cage had that to a degree as well, but I don't think he was ever as big as Nicholson was in the 70s, or Pacino was in the 70s. I don't think he was ever that big. But he was still a big actor, but he kind of adapted. And him and Dafoe seem to have adapted better because they were in an industry that's fragmented more. There's a bit more opportunity for a crazier actor to evolve with times. You don't have to keep doing the same thing again and again. So maybe there's more opportunity in a way that someone like De Niro seems to not even have noticed was a possibility, because he just seems to be picking the most boring subjects possible. Well, someone like Dafoe or Cage seem to yeah, they've done trash, but they always mix it with something. Like this year you've got Nicolas Cage doing Colour Out of Space, you've got Willem Dafoe in The Lighthouse. Those are interesting looking projects. And it's like, well, where's the De Niro interesting looking project? There's Irishman, which might be good, but that's been the first one in like years that's looked interesting from him. So I think it's hard to keep a career going in this industry, and some of them are better than others. I think something to do with your focus. I think at some point some careers just burn out, and I also think some actors get other interests beyond acting that is more of interest to them than acting, so they just go to acting as a job. While other actors, acting's still a passion for them, and yes, sometimes that's their job, but they'll still try to do work that interests them and work with people that interest them. So I think it depends on your focus as well. So I mean, none of these careers, all of them have good points and bad points. I think they're all worth looking at because the high points are so good that the low points don't really matter. But some have had way more substantial work done than others. And I think there is an element of craziness to their choices throughout time that made them really great. And then some of them couldn't sustain and some of them could. But I think those 7 are genuinely interesting, crazy actors at their peak. And sometimes it went right and sometimes it went wrong. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. That's me finished with this one. I'll be back tomorrow with another very different video. Okay, bye.